cloud it is. Welcome. Would you like to introduce your name, course, and your year?
Hi, thanks for having me. My name is Zornitsa Lazarova, but you can call me Zoe. I'm currently in my third and final years of computer animation studies at Bournemouth University.
Could you also tell us your hometown?
I'm actually an international student, so I'm from Burgas, Bulgaria. Briefly lived in Scotland for a bit, Edinburgh, and then I just moved to Bournemouth.
Why did you choose your course?
Because I want something kind of artsy, but I'm not solely an artsy person. I wanted to do something a bit more technical as well. That's why I didn't just go for fine art or for illustration or graphic design. Plus, I think with animation, there are a lot of ways to go. Like, you can go into the film industry, you can go into the game industry, experimental animation, medical animation, and stuff like that. So I think there's quite a few opportunities for jobs.
You said you're in your third year of university and final year. What have you thought
Yeah.
about your course?
I think it's really fun so far. There have been some difficulties like workload and general confusion. Uh, didn't really have a very strong art background before applying because fine art not something that you necessarily study in Bulgaria, unless you go to a special school. And my main subject back in school was French, so not very artsy. Um, it is a bit difficult when you're just kind of thrown into it and you have no idea what's happening. But luckily, it's a very nice community of students. It's very helpful. Everyone helps each other. A lot of the lectures are great as well. Um, I would say there's some lacks from you don't really get that much guidance. It's very hands-on, I would say. And I do wish that there was a bigger emphasis on storytelling because we're animators, we're artists. It's very visual. My opinion is mostly positive though, so I've quite enjoyed my 2 years, almost 3 years here.
In Bulgaria, how does your grades before you come to university work? So in the UK, we obviously have our A levels and GCSEs, A levels being more for university. How does it work for Bulgaria?
Well, basically in Bulgaria, the final level of study before university is high school. And you typically don't count the first year of high school. And after that, they count all of your subjects. So we kind of study everything like languages, mathematics, science, things like that. It's everything. And then in your final year, you get to choose an optional class that you can take a few times per week, so one of your main class. I did like pick fine art for that, so I think that kind of contributed. And then you could have a couple of exams in the Bulgarian language, and the second one is optional. I chose English, so it's a big like com- competition of grades. Really, it's everything you've done for every single year since the ninth grade, more or
And do you
less.
need to take anything extra to study in the UK?
Yes, you need to have a language certificate, which shows that you have a decent grasp of the English language. I did the IELTS exam. It's typically supposed to be above a certain grade. I think for Bournemouth University, it might be 5.59, but I'm not entirely sure. For my course specifically, you also needed a portfolio.
What subjects do you think is best for your course?
I've talked to a few people, and I know that quite a few have taken like graphic design, fine art, photography for the artsier parts, and I also know that some people did like take like advanced maths and programming, especially for the technical arts course, which mine is art and design. I would say it's pretty useful to go more technical, like do some programming.
Okay. Could you imagine the university you're currently studying at? Could you remind us of the university you're currently studying at?
Yeah, I'm currently studying at Bournemouth University.
If we go into the best and worst things about studying at Bournemouth University, starting off with the worst.
Oh, okay, it's nothing bad. It's nothing too bad. Basically, I would say the university is a bit disorganized. I think it's things that happen everywhere, like timetable mishaps and bad communication between some lecturers and the students sometimes. It's a bit difficult also to get into student well-being, which you typically have access to 6 counseling sessions, but it is a huge list, which some people have kind of complained about. Um, I already mentioned that some of the lecturers aren't particularly helpful, and it's really disheartening when you're looking for extra help, but you can't really access it. I would say that the campus is okay, but sometimes I feel like maybe they put their money in things that are just for show and not for the student.
So more on the outside than the inside, really.
Yeah, I hope Bournemouth University doesn't come for me, but they have a new thing that is for us media students that looks very nice on the outside, but on the inside it's chaos. It's a lot of unused space. We used to have designated labs and now we don't as an animation like course. So that's a bit sad. And yeah, and we got taken like some resources away. Like we had drawing tablets installed everywhere, and now we have to kind of fight for them to be installed back. So I would say something they do look very nice, very shiny, but they're not for the benefit
Exactly.
of the students that are using it. Yeah.
And the best things?
The best thing is I would say the people really. I'm not sure if every single course is like mine, but ours is very like it's very team based, it's very work together because it's an industry where you can't really go alone. Like you can't just do everything by yourself. So everyone tries to talk to each other, like keep in touch, like help each other, which is really great because most I've learned are from people in my year, people from the years above, and that's been really cool. I also think that it's really cool how there's a good mix of international students, me, and local students, and it's been really fun and really educational to learn about other people's culture.
Okay.
Um, I will say that we have had some awesome lecturers that are really passionate about teaching, really passionate about their specialism, really helpful, really responsive. Uh, and a very cool thing about doing animation at Bournemouth is that they have really good connections to the industry.
If we go into your accommodation in your
Uh,
first year, where did you live in your first year?
I live in an accommodation called Cranborne House during first
And what
year.
did you think?
Uh, I wouldn't recommend. It was pretty messy. Like I would say it was a bit dirty. It was close to like big shops like Asa, but
Mm,
a lot of the residents were really like loud, really party oriented.
mm,
Uh, didn't really keep clean. Um, Also, there were a lot of fire alarms. Like at 3 a.m., there was this one time where something broke, I think, in the fire alarm, and we had it just going off like
constantly.
between 5 and 7 or something like that. It
Jeez.
was horrible.
And your second year?
So I wouldn't recommend. Second year and third year, I'm living in renting house. I'm renting a house
And what's it
basically with my
like going
friends.
from
It's
renting a house to accommodation?
the the switch between accommodation and housing is godsend, amazing, beautiful, and perfect. The only thing that I do miss about accommodation is like the private bathroom, but and I guess the included bills, but everything else, it's much cheaper. You get a bigger room, you get to live with your friends, no fire alarms. It's great.
If we go into the Bournemouth area, what did you think about the Bournemouth area? The nightlife, the foods and shops?
At first, I didn't really like it because it just really reminded me of my home, which is like a smallish beach town as well. But it kind of grew on me because for such a small place, I think it has a lot of individuality, like a lot of local places that are so good in terms of like food, cafes, nightlife. I'm not really that type of person, but if I ever do want to go out and I guess like let some steam off,
Hmm.
there are quite a few clubs that are okay, like are nice.
What's the club for you?
I think it's called Does Your Mother Know or something like that. It's supposed to be a gay bar, but everyone's welcome. It's pretty fun. I've gone with my friends a few times and they play a lot of Lady Gaga, so that's great.
What advice would you give to any Bulgarian students wanting to study in the UK?
Don't stick to other Bulgarians just because it's safer. I know a lot of Bulgarians in England tend to just keep to themselves and just keep to other Bulgarians, which I think it's not ideal. You're out of your country, your family's here. Um, Explore. It's your time to like learn new things, learn about new cultures. I think I'm a much better person for just talking to people that aren't like me from where I am. I think this is like the general scope. Like, yeah, I think that's it.
What advice would you give to students wanting to study your course?
I think the biggest thing, the absolute biggest thing, is talk to other people, keep in contact with other people. You need them. You can't do this by yourself. You might help, or you might be able to help someone. It's really the best thing when other students are able to support themselves because you're not going to receive as much support from your lecturers that you probably need. Also, another thing is if you say, I'm going to start this project next week, you need to start right now because, yeah, okay, but you're gonna stress out. You're gonna have an all-nighter, at least one. You don't need this. You don't need in your life. Just do your project when the brief is introduced and just don't make mistakes. It doesn't have to be painful. It can be simple. Just help yourself out. Also, I would say look at as many tutorials as possible, just so you know earlier what you kind of like do, what you can do, what you hate doing. I think this is the general like info that I
Hmm.
wish someone told.
Why did you choose studying in the UK over Bulgaria?
To be honest, I didn't really like my degree that much. I felt a bit out of place, I would say, because typically if you do art, people don't really respect you that much. Plus, I found there weren't that many good art schools in Bulgaria. Plus, I thought that it would be easier to get into the industry if I did go to the UK. And I had this like childhood dream of living in the UK, so it was cool to fulfill that.
At this point, I let students have what I like to call a free-for-all. You can say what you want about what you like. You can give a summary. You can give advice. You can say your @, your Instagrams, your LinkedIn, your portfolio websites. Literally, the floor is yours.
Cool. I sadly don't have any work up yet, but if anyone's watching this, my LinkedIn is Zornitsa Lazarov, and I'll have some work there by the next few months if you want to check that out. I'm a
This
texturing
video
and
most
lighting
likely,
artist.
sorry, I was just going to say this video is most likely to come out in the end of December, January. So would anything be up by then?
hopefully, but I'm not really sure. I'm working hopefully on my short film that's really fun. It's about a girl stuck in a bubble and a
Mm.
boy magician. So that would be cool to
And where would
see.
that get
Any
uploaded?
advice? It should be uploaded on my LinkedIn and
Mm.
hopefully on YouTube. If I take the
Mm.
push, it should be, if it does go into production, it should be ready in June or something like that, if anyone is curious. General advice, again, talk to people. Uh, and also, this isn't for people in my course specifically, but I just can't stress this enough. If you think that drinking a lot makes you seem cool, it doesn't. You just get sick and people will have to carry you home. And people will make jokes the rest of your time in uni, so don't do it. Um, go to the library. There are some cool resources. Ask people if they've seen any resources that they like. Talk to people in the upper years. Talk to people who graduated. Talk to people in industry. Most of them are super nice and they'll help you out. And yeah, I think that's pretty. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I am plugged in. My boy Calvin's doing a great job.
Thank you.